Hello, are you out there? I'm Mark with Homebrew Fever Dreams, and we've got ourselves a homebrew review. This is for crunkers. If you guys recall, crunkers had given us a couple of items. We've got a subclass here, and I think there's a spell, maybe? But we'll do the subclass here today. This is coming off of D&D Beyond. You can do your homebrew, which is nice. Travel Domain. So this is for a Travel Domain Cleric coming from user Crunkers off of the old subreddits there. And they posted this on r/homebrew fever dreams. If you put your homebrew ideas there, it's a very good chance I will get around to it eventually and make a video for you. And then I'll DM you the video so you can have it. Share it with your friends. Just enjoy it. The Travel Domain deals with gods of moving and journeying. Some gods may be more focused on journeying by foot or by horse, others by sea. Some Travel Domain gods hold a portfolio of portals and teleportation. The domain spells. You gain domain spells at the cleric level listed in the Travel Domain spells table. See the Divine Domain class feature for how domain spells work. So for your Travel Domain Cleric, first level, you would get Jump and Long Strider. Obviously, these are just high mobility spells right off the bat. Allowing you to kind of get where move around the combat field pretty well. Although you are going to be limited on spell slots early on, and you may want to be saving those for healing. But yeah, to get you in or out, if you have to like jump in and your frontline fighters down, this could save their life at an odd moment. Third level, you're going to get that Misty Step Spider Climb. Very nicely done. Misty Step is probably like the most readily useful spell I can think of because it allows you to, like, say, it's like a disengage, but there's no opportunity attacks against you. You just get to do it and bug out. It's a great spell. So, fifth level, Fly and Phantom Steed. Interesting. I'm actually not that familiar with Phantom Steed, but I would imagine that gives you prolonged surface world travel. So you can cover great distances over the course of a day on a tireless steed. And then Fly, of course, is just such a good way to cause problems for your DM. Just kidding. It shouldn't be an issue if your players can fly. You just work with it. It's always this thing of like, well, what happens if they just fly up and they just rain ranged attacks down on the goblins? It's just like the goblins just run under a tree for full cover. Yeah, because they'd just be like, you're right. As arrows or bolts are coming out, like the goblins just go hide under something. They hide under a wagon. They hide under a tree. They go into a cave. They go into a building. And now you've mitigated. They don't need to stand out there and get killed by the attackers. And you also will have that thing of like where the players are like, do I see any bows or arrows? And you're like, no. And they're like, oh, they don't have ranged attack. And then it's just be like, oh, well, they pull slings out of their backpacks, or they pick up rocks to throw at you, right? Or they go run and hide. So these are all things your baddies can do as the DM to help when you have a flying party member or flying party. They can even go prone, which I believe helps with ranged attacks. It gives disadvantage, right? I think so. There's a lot of things as a DM. Flying should not break your campaign in any way, in my opinion. So, 7th level, you've got Dimension Door, Freedom of Movement, and finally, 9th level, Pass Wall and Teleportation Circle. I like that. Getting to 9th level, you're definitely ready at that mid-game. Your party's going to be really strong. 9th, 10th level, you guys... Yeah, I mean, you're not, like, taking on the gods, but, yeah, for the nation or the city-state you come from, you would be the preeminent small unit force. The 4, 5, 6 of you would be like total badasses. Teleportation circles really at that point totally appropriate. It gives you that sense of like these guys are legit. They're gonna get in, they're gonna get the job done, and they're gonna get back. So Wanderlust. When you choose this domain at first level, you gain proficiency in one of the following skills. Those are pop-up menus. I wasn't trying to do that. Animal handling, medicine, nature, survival. Okay, so just a little extra proficiency. You also have proficiency in water and land vehicles, and you learn one language of your choice because you're well-traveled. It's good flavor there. And, oftentimes no one takes vehicle proficiency. But if your party wants to be handling their own land vehicle or ship, someone's got to know it, or you've got to have that crew. So it's that nice blend. And if you had a party of 5 or 6, you could potentially crew a single sailing boat. Sailing boat, is that what they call them? Sailboat, maybe, is a better word. Yeah, a small sailboat, 25, 35 feet. A crew of 5 or 6 could handle that, I think. I'm not a boat guy, but... All right, a Swift Company. At first level, you gain the ability to target one additional creature with a spell that grants movement speed. Ooh. Enhances dash or makes it easier to move through difficult terrain, such as jump, fly, spider climb, haste, and freedom of movement. I like that. It's just one other person, but you could definitely do it on the slower people within the group. If you have, like, say, a barbarian or a monk who already have high mobility, then you could be using that on yourself and the dwarf or the halfling with your group. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And hopefully it'll scale up a bit later. We'd see. Like, I could see it like 12th level, it goes to a 3rd, possibly. Something cool like that. Channel Divinity, Wayfarer's Boon. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your Channel Divinity to hasten travel. Oh my. Okay, as an action, you present your holy symbol, target up to 20 creatures you can see. You can also target yourself. Each creature has a 10-foot bonus to their walking speed for 1 hour, and they're unaffected by difficult terrain. That is really cool. Like, if you're out with, like, the King's hunting party or something like that, that's like a whole military unit or a whole village, small village you're trying to rescue, evacuate. There's a lot of good roleplay potential there with that. And it's not overpowered because it's just the 1 hour. But it's just like, yes, we can get these people out of here quickly. We can move them a couple miles from wherever the disaster is, the front line of the battle or the encroaching lava from a volcano, whatever. And the idea that, like, even children, the elderly, everyone, that terrain's not difficult. So you can move them quickly. And I also really like the idea that the cleric is all the while leading this group. They're presenting their holy symbol. I'm not saying they would have to. They just present it once, but I could see them the entire way, like, continuing that prayer on whatever their emblem is, their shield, and they lead the way the entire hour. Just for color, it seems like it's very evocative to me. I like that. Okay. Divine Guide. Don't want to go too higher. Starting at 6th level, you can cast Haste once per long rest without expending a spell slot and without material components. This is always prepared, does not count against the number of known spells. Does that mean that you could cast it the free time without expending a slot, but then you could also spend slots to cast it again and again? It still doesn't have to be prepared. I've never been quite clear on that. I guess as a DM, I would rule it that, yeah, if you know it without preparing it, you know it in any case. And as long as you can cast it free or with slots, you can cast it. That's how I ruled out. But it's come up on some of the characters I've created, and I've been like, how does that work? Yeah, so. While traveling along roads, your party's movement speed is doubled along the movement speed of any relevant animals or vehicles. While traveling along roads, your party's movement speed is doubled along with the movement speed, so a little edit there, of any relevant animals / vehicles. This benefit does not extend to combat. Good caveat to point out. Difficult terrain does not reduce your party's traveling speed. This does not include combat, again, and your base walking speed increases to 10 feet. Very, very cool. Potential... I mean, obviously, you would only take this if you were playing a character in a campaign where you were going to be wandering, traveling all over a continent or a world or plane of existence, obviously. But this is a conversation you have with your DM and be like, does this make sense for me to choose this subclass? And they're like, yeah, you're good. It's not all like in a castle where you're not going to go anywhere. Okay. Potent spellcasting. Starting at 8th level, you add your wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any clerical cantrip. That's cool. There's not that many damaging clerical cantrips. Guiding bolt? There's just a couple, right? But, well, I was going to say if you subclass in like War Domain, but you're not. You're Travel Domain. It's that might be a little thin. Like if I'm thinking about it and I'm just thinking of what the cleric cantrip table is, at least out of the player's handbook. I mean, maybe with all the expansions, there's more cantrips available to clerics, but you're not getting a lot out of that for 8th level. So critique, maybe bump that up, expand it out somehow. Maybe to 1st level spells as well, or to healing and damage, right? Something like that. Okay, think about it. In here, Master of the Realms, this is kind of your capstone for the subclass. It's 17th level. You can cast Teleport and Plane Shift once per long rest without expending spell slot and without material components. This is always prepared, does not count against the number of known spells. When teleporting this way, there is no chance of mishap, but you still may be off target or in a similar area. Okay, so mishap is different. Geez, I guess I don't know what the definition of mishap is, but it sounds like you are just a master of teleportation, magical travel. So, which is nice. At level 17, you shouldn't have to be worried about mishaps, in my opinion. You cannot banished, teleported, or moved against will. You cannot be, a little edit there, you cannot be banished, teleported, or moved against your will. You cannot be knocked prone. You are immune to exhaustion. I mean, yeah, it's 17th level. Okay, it's not overpowered, but that's unique. That's very rare, right? That's very rare in D&D. I don't think I've seen that anywhere else. Your base walking speed is increased by 20 feet. Very cool. I see a previous version down at the bottom, but yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. So I think I had a couple just typo edits for you. I think that the potent spell casting, you need to bump it up. I would be like, yeah, your cantrips and your 1st level spells, both for damage and healing, you get that wisdom modifier bonus. Because at 8th level, like if you were a wizard, you have like plenty of warlock damaging cantrips, but I think the cleric's got like 1. So, but yeah, this is really cool. I actually like the Master of Realms capstone. Has got a few really good things. The not being able to get knocked prone, the immune to exhaustion. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Crunkers, for sharing. And I will have to get to your spell another time. But we'll save it for next week. Take care.